You're listening to the RE Social Podcast with your hosts, Andrew and Vince from OnV Invest. For more information, go to onvinvest.com.
What's up, you guys? Welcome to another episode of RE Social Podcast. Today we have our guy, our main man, Fabes. What's up, Fabian?
Hey, how are you guys? Thanks for having me over.
So, Fabe, for anybody who don't know who you are, can you give a little 90-second intro?
Quick, I was born in Argentina, moved here about like 10 years ago. I've been working in the web industry for many, many years. And then I kind of took the leap into getting into real estate. I started like buying rentals. And then a few years ago, I started doing flips in Orange County and just been expanding the portfolio.
That's awesome, man. So how did you get into real estate? Just rich dad, poor dad?
Rich dad, poor dad, bigger pockets. I kind of wanted to move away from working by the hour and earning by the hour and more into being able to get like passive income. Everybody says the same, right? It's earning your freedom again. And being able to take my kids out or go on vacation or do things that I want without having to worry about being behind the computer and having to work for, hourly amounts.
And for people who are listening, just as a snapshot, how many properties are you controlling right now?
Right now I have roughly 6 flips going on in Orange County.
Sure.
And then the rental portfolio, it's about like 25 doors.
25 doors and all in California?
Everything in California.
Nice.
I've done some stuff out of state in Detroit. We did 3 flips out there, but I learned the lesson that, a cheap market is cheap for a reason.
Shout out to our boy from Detroit.
And, it was a good experience.
Did you make money?
We made money. We walked away with roughly like 10% return. So it wasn't bad.
That's not bad.
But, it's like you have more headaches having to work with people far away. They expect that you never go and show up. And basically, it's tough. And the market is rougher, right?
Do they slack off kind of like when the boss is away? The kids will
that,
play.
or they start like, adding fees, or if you're flipping, it's like, you had a break-in all of a sudden. Like it might happen here in California as well, right? But if something were to happen, you can get in your car, drive, and see it yourself. Whether, if it is like really far,
right?
Are you gonna get on a plane for $500?
So what is your strategy
for
the out-of-state flips?
No, that was my only deal with Detroit. The cool thing about Detroit, though, it's that we were a group of 5, and the main person that brought the deal, he kind of left it, so I took over. And because the other investors, they didn't know any, they didn't have any real estate background or anything else. So I took over, and now those investors are investing with me in California. So it kind of worked out where the initial person that brought the deal in, when he saw that the deal wasn't going that well,
just disappeared. Wow.
So he stopped answering. And
did you take maybe a temporary hit on that deal, but got all these investors on your side? And
actually, we ended up making like 10% on our money. But because the investors, they saw that I was able to resolve things.
So now they had even
they
more
were
faith.
It's
one of those things where I've heard that if you can build a business in the winter, you'll just dominate every other season. And that's what you did. And they saw that.
And,
that's cool.
And you show the investors the trust, you start building that.
Right.
And I feel it's, trust in this business is 100% everything.
Everyone that's partnered with us is mostly trust.
Yeah.
Like they know lightly about like what's really happening. And they'll ask questions and you can tell they have no idea what I mean when I say answers. That's fine.
Yeah.
They're making money. We're making money. It's fine.
Exactly.
But yeah, trust is huge.
Yeah.
Even with our team, like I was just bragging about our boy Juan, who's been really helping us a lot to do all these renovations. Renovation number 4 now just ended. And for, I don't know, what'd you say, like 40% discount compared to what it might be. Guy answers his phone, 10 o'clock. The guy goes out of his way to get us discounts, less than half of what we're being quoted by everybody else to glaze a tub, things of that nature. And I was telling Vince just last night, we have our meetings on Mondays. And I was like, dude, that's our guy. Like, any guy who goes out of his way to do that, like, dude, he's got my trust forever.
Yep. For me too, it's I've been, by doing all these flips and even like tenant turnovers, right? You gotta have guys that you can trust. I give them my credit card, so they just go get the material, and it makes it easy for me too, where I don't have to. Initially, when I started, I was going to the stores with them, purchasing, and now it's just go, take it.
Yeah.
One thing I kind of been working on is that I use WhatsApp a lot. So I've been asking them to send me photos, videos, like even instead of calling me, send me a voice message. So whenever I can, I listen to it and then I reply. So we have communication. And then usually I create groups per property. So whatever is going on in this property, I put whoever's in charge, and we just have everything in one place.
So it's all just different threads on WhatsApp?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So there's no like software that you use where it's like a project management?
No.
Nice.
WhatsApp for me, it's
all you
amazing. It's on the phone, just do it. I might go walk it, be like, hey, we need, open this up, change this, boom, boom.
Right.
And then once I do it, they start sending me daily videos or photos, or if they have any questions. That saves me also time to don't have to go to the property every day.
Yeah.
And, it's that trust. They already know my system, my process,
Right.
The color schemes that I like, how I like lighting up the lights,
Right.
all the, I'm very detail oriented when it comes to that stuff.
So 25 doors, 7 flips happening right now.
Well, yeah, pretty much.
That's awesome, man. You're crushing it. By what I can tell, and every time we've talked, you seem to be like, you're always in another level, which I love. Those are the kind of people I want to hang out with. I'm kind of curious though. I want to back it up. I'm sure Vince does as well. I know you've come out to our meetups a bunch. We've chatted a bunch. You've come over for, we'll play poker and stuff. But I love these podcasts and doing this selfishly, because then it just like now we really go deep. This is where I'm all about like, let's really like. What trauma do you have as a kid, and how did that lead to this? Like I love like all that, but in all seriousness, you started out doing digital something. You said marketing.
Yeah, web. Mm-hmm.
Was it web
design and development?
Gotcha. Okay, so back it up even just maybe a step before that. What was happening? Who was Fabian just before he starts his 9 to 5? What are you doing? What are you thinking? What are your plans, goals, aspirations?
Oh, well. Back in Argentina, I hated studying school. I will like fail the classes, but then I will pass, like study 2 weeks before the exams, get it done.
Yeah.
And then when my parents decided to come to California in 2001, all of a sudden, like no English whatsoever.
You didn't know English?
No English.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't even spell my last name.
No English.
Uh-huh.
No hablo inglés.
No hablo inglés.
No hablo inglés.
And, I did a summer school.
Nice.
Even the counselor, like she put me into ESL classes.
Nice.
The first day in high school, I was like, with my broken English, no ESL, regular classes. And I ended up doing US history, math, English, like everything. And for some reason, like school here was easier. I don't know what it was. But
even though you didn't even speak the language.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I started like picking it up. I had a friend that she saw that I was lost on my first couple of weeks. And she kind of like was saying, you know, let me teach you, like show you a couple of things. And I started like picking it up. And I ended up doing the yearbook. So I got into all the multimedia and stuff like that.
Taking photos and stuff?
I was doing, so the high school I went to, we had the yearbook, and then we did a yearbook on a DVD. So
Cool.
I was more in charge of the DVD program, where we did all the authoring, filming, editing, and so on. So I started like, you know, my...
And this was here in California?
in Carlsbad. San
Carlsbad.
Diego.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we moved to Rancho Santa Margarita. I did Saddleback a couple of years. And then I ended up going to the Art Institute in Harvard.
Nice.
At the Art Institute, I did multimedia and web design. I got my BA.
Nice.
And I was working for Fox back then. So I would commute to LA, back and forth. But yeah, I mean, my thing is always been like I pay for my degree by working.
Right.
So I always try to be like zero debt type of person. You know, one thing my dad taught me was like, hey, if you're gonna get a credit card, make sure that you pay it at the end of the month, like whatever
zero debt. Yeah.
Zero.
Yeah.
And I went back to Argentina in 2008, and then Argentina is so different. Like, it's very hard to use credit there. Like credit, like it exists, but the interest rate is so high that it's crazy to have any sort of debt, unless you have like promotions where it's like 0% and stuff like that. So I moved there and started from scratch.
Why did you move back to Argentina?
I went back because I was here on a student visa. So when it ended, I went back. Actually, I went back for like it was supposed to be temporarily, but I ended up staying there for 7 years.
Argentina.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Buenos Aires.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And how old were you when you moved back?
I was 22, 23.
22. So basically, all of your 20s, you're back in Argentina.
Yeah.
But you got a degree from the U.S. I'm sure that looks really good.
Yeah.
You get right into another. Were you already at Fox before?
I was working at Fox here in LA.
So you already had a nice resume too, then.
Yeah.
Okay. So what did you do in Argentina?
So
like day one.
Funny story.
Big job.
I get to Argentina. 2 weeks in, I get an email from MySpace saying that they met me at the portfolio show when I finished my program. So the last class was the portfolio show. And we had a bunch of people from the web industry, agencies, clients and stuff. And they were asking me, hey, let's have an interview. I was like already working, I didn't need anything. So they contacted me and they wanted to interview me here in LA. And I told them I just got to Argentina. I will be back in a month or two. And we started like exchanging emails. And they said, hey, we're in Argentina, Buenos Aires. They ended up flying the VP from Miami. We had breakfast and
In Buenos Aires?
in Buenos Aires. And funny story.
How skilled are you, bro? Like MySpace? Was this before they blew up? What's happening?
Yeah, before they blew up. Okay. Well, no. I mean, MySpace was big, and then they just tanked.
Got it.
This was 2007. MySpace closed in 2009, 2010.
Oh, I see. Okay, interesting. That's kind of cool. They were like headhunting you, though.
Dude, it was crazy. Like, it was meant to happen.
So good cash?
It was good because I was actually, when I went back to Argentina, I was working for a company here in the US. So when I met with the VP, he was like, so how much do you want? So kind of like the movies, I wrote it on a napkin and I was like, this. And he looked at it, he's like, okay, let me talk to my boss. And a week later, he's like, okay, you got it.
That exact amount.
Yeah. So cool thing, I was double ending. So I was working for a company here in the US, and I also had my salary.
So it's all remote.
All remote.
Nice.
And then I was also doing freelance work.
Oh, wow. So triple income.
Yeah, very good years.
But all active income.
Yeah.
Everything's by the hour.
Everything by the hour,
project.
salary.
Right.
So you're saving a lot of money then?
I was saving a shitload of money. Man.
There we go.
And how did you know to save money? Your dad kind of taught you no debt kind of stuff? Because you could have just bought nice cars and
Yeah, get the Porsche, bro.
So that's the thing. That's the thing. It's like, you know, when I lived here, I was 22 and I got a brand new BMW, right? Beautiful car. I love cars, right? But I think, you know, at some time I clicked and I was like, what's the point of having this if I'm just working to pay for it?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, just kind of life took me in a way to start saving. In Argentina, you earn pesos. So what you want to do, because you have a lot of inflation, you want to move the pesos to dollars, right? So every month I was converting my salary in pesos to dollars, you know, putting it, stacking as much as I could out. That turned out that I was like 23, 24. I ended up buying an apartment in Argentina by myself. Like my own money, I saved it, done. So
I don't mean to divert too much from your journey. Just out of curiosity, like maybe in a minute or less, how do loan products work? How does the real estate work and or differ in, say, Argentina compared to the U.S.?
Argentina,
just out of curiosity.
most people, they just buy the properties cash.
So again, back to that no debt, no credit thing.
Yeah, they're not like 30-year mortgages.
Okay.
You might have like maybe a private lender that might lend you some money, but rates are crazy because the country is very
Volatile economy?
yeah, unstable.
Okay.
So, you know, that's crazy how in Argentina people buy it cash and that's it.
That's wild. So you bought this apartment cash?
I bought it cash.
Dang, bro. You saved up a lot. Then.
Yeah.
How much was it?
I bought it for like $180.
$180,000 US dollars?
Yeah.
Wow. And you saved that much money?
Yeah.
That's
Legend.
crazy, bro. In your 20s.
my
In your
20s.
20s?
In my
Bro,
20s.
he was
But
way ahead of me.
Losers. We
Bro.
had 20 grand when we were 32.
No,
Correct.
But, you know, I mean, I think it's all the sacrifices that you do as well. Like, I was still going out and you know, doing my stuff. But
It's that MySpace money, dude.
yeah,
it
MySpace and, you know, just working, freelancing and doing the extra. Like, I know people instead of, like, I don't know, watching TV, I was still working or I was doing something extra.
Yeah.
Or I was having a job and then also having that extra freelance that was extra money. But even back then, I was putting money into the stock market and kind of like trying to let it grow and compound. And then, you know, it just worked out, I guess, you know, and
So this apartment in Argentina is your first piece of real estate, your first experience.
yeah.
You own it, 180 cash.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening now?
What's happening now? So I moved back to California in 2015. I ended up renting the apartment. But again, because the peso and dollar, it's crazy. When I moved here in 2015, $1 was 10 pesos. Now $1 is like 1,200 pesos.
Oh, man.
So the inflation has been crazy for the last couple of years.
But it was free rent anyway. It's like free income because you've got it paid off. It's just not
True,
ideal.
but then the return is very little.
Right.
So what happened is that I ended up selling the apartment.
Yeah, I don't blame
I
you.
brought the money here. And even though like I was already...
Did it at least appreciate?
Oh yeah, it appreciated. Like I ended up selling for like 270, I think.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
And how many years?
So I bought it, what was it, like maybe 5-6 years.
How did you do that trade? Because at that time, did the property value go up exponentially compared to because your currency was depreciating against the US dollar?
Well, the real estate in Argentina, it's US based. Like you manage it in dollars.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you don't trade because it's something stable. So whoever has money, they want to park it into real estate. That's like the safe harbor of hey, I got
And
extra.
Argentinian
stuff.
real estate is backed by the US dollar, essentially, in a way.
Kind of. It trades in US dollars.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
But then you have to convert the currency, right? Because I'm asking because I'm also an immigrant from India.
Yeah.
We're having this problem with Indian rupee. And, the appreciation has gone up a lot. But compared to the US dollar, we're not making anything. Because it's
You're like back to zero, right?
It's just you're getting your money back. That's it.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple bucks.
Yeah.
So
was
I
kinda
don't know how
curious.
you're getting around that with you, Argentinian pesos.
So like most apartments, like if you go, there is no Zillow there, but there are other websites,
Sure.
right? Like that you can search for properties, and the pricing it says US dollars, and the amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the conversion because you have to buy the property with Argentinian pesos.
No. You buy it with actual dollars.
Where'd you get the dollars?
There are ways.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
Moving on.
For me, it was
Because they don't let you hold dollars a lot, right?
no. You can hold dollars.
Yeah.
Like there's many people that have dollars under the mattress,
Yeah.
and
That was
At least you
literally
cannot
me.
hold dollars.
That's how we bought our first property.
yeah. But when you go and do the transaction, it's not like you have an escrow or you wire the money via the bank, and they
You just hand the guy a briefcase.
Oh yeah, I
or a
went to the
check.
bank with a duffel bag or a backpack.
That's what
dang.
they're doing in India too.
That's,
I had
that's full
100
gangster mode, dude.
170, 180 because you also have to pay closing fees and stuff like that, realtor fees,
Yeah.
and you just dump it into the table,
Dang.
and they start counting one by one.
What?
Yeah, because if there is
wild.
one bill that they don't like, they're like, change this one for another one. So
U.S. dollars.
U.S. dollars. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's crazy
So
how
you converted the money somehow.
Yeah.
We will keep it off the podcast, and then you bring that money back. You have $250,000 in cash. And how did you get it? You just got a visa back into the U.S.
To bring it here again. You can. There are ways to have people that might have money here and need it in Argentina. So you just give it to them and they transfer to you here.
Dude, I think it's the same people doing it for India. We do the same thing.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It's like we have
I know nothing about
there's a
this
word
world.
for it. We call them something.
But there's a whole industry behind that.
And they're like they would not take even $1 because their name is on the line. So they will just give you all the money.
Huh.
And they just take a fee.
Because that's exactly what I was thinking. It's like, what's it? Why
Oh,
would
they
they
take a
just
fee.
scam
Yeah.
you?
But it's very, very small fee.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, they might charge you like
So
1 point or something.
Fabian lands 7-8 years later. He's almost 30, and he's got $250,000 in U.S. cash.
So I didn't sell my apartment yet. So I moved here. I have my online business, and then every year I was doing my taxes. So I got like 2 years in, and my CPA is like, "Man, you gotta pay," and I'm like, "Can we deduct anything?" And he's like, "You have not much to deduct. Like my business is it's a service, right?" So I go home and I start like researching. It's like, what can I do to, offset my taxes? And then, I got into Robert Kiyosaki, how he talks about having the quadrant where you want to be positioned at, and then the difference between active income, passive income, all the stuff. I find Bigger Pockets, Dave Ramsey. Like I start listening to all these podcasts and I start consuming all this information. I was driving or even coding and having on the background like the podcast going. Sometimes I will listen at like 2x just so I could
Yeah.
consume more.
I do 1.5. 2x, I'm just missing everything.
I can't do it. It's not enjoyable for me.
Yeah, 1.5 if they are a slow talker, but usually 1.25 if it's like a normal pace. Yeah,
Right.
That's my little thing.
So it's I was trying to get as much information.
You're reading actual books too, or all podcasts? And
Mostly podcasts. I'm more like visual, or I like
Audible.
to listen stuff. And then Brandon Turner, man, it's like the guy, like the initial
he just
videos.
gave away like so many nuggets.
So much information, man. And it's hats off to the guy.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
By the way, Brandon, if you're listening,
Yeah.
get on our podcast, please.
He's not. He's not listening.
For the record, he's definitely not listening. But also, I want to point out this is Fabian's first podcast, so you're crushing it. By the way, I think everyone agrees listening. So, anyways, all right. So you're obsessed. You're in this world, and it was all spurred by this these tax bills you kept getting every year.
Yeah, I was getting taxed, and
You're making six figures.
yeah, I was making over 6. Yeah. And just I started again researching 2-hour radius from where I am,
And no flips, nothing so far, right? You haven't done nothing.
nothing.
You don't even
one
know.
deal.
The only thing, my apartment in Argentina that I bought, I lived in, and then when I moved here,
But you knew, you're reading all this stuff. You know, you're about to make a big play. You're going to throw some cash somewhere.
yeah. So
What was that?
I started saving money. I actually, one of the crazy or interesting deals I made is I did a hard money on a person that needed a big chunk right away, and he paid 20-something% in a few months. So that was
And it worked out.
it worked out. Yeah.
You had a lien on the property and stuff.
Yes. So
Nice.
when she sold it, I got paid.
How did you know to do all that lien stuff? Books, podcasts.
No, I just trusted my friend, and I just went with it.
Oh,
I
wow, that's crazy.
guts, man. I
Don't do
know.
that, guys.
Yeah.
He could be
consult
back in
your
Argentina
attorney
counting
for the
pesos, but
Yeah. Hey,
glad it worked out.
So you got a 20-some-odd% return on your money. You're basically
No, in months, which means it's double.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
in
In
a
a
few
couple
months.
months.
Yeah, that's times 6.
All right, cool. Making
yeah,
moves.
crazy. So, with that, one day I like going to networking events. I used to go to the Chamber of Commerce for my web business. I become friends with this one guy, and we're talking, and I'm like, hey, I want to get into investment properties. And we're talking, and he's like, yeah, I got a friend, he's a realtor, hooked me up. And, I started we had so many things in common. And we went to multiple places, Corona, Riverside, all the way to Adelanto. And then one day he's like, hey, let me take
He's
you
a
out.
real estate agent.
Yes.
I mean, investor friendly.
Investor
specifically?
friendly.
Okay.
Yes. So he actually owned rentals.
He owned rentals.
Yes.
I want to make a quick point to anyone listening. That is an important detail.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
sorry.
I noticed a lot of realtors, even when I bought my house, that realtor was like, oh, just buy it. It looks nice, blah, blah, blah,
Yes.
done.
Most are just trying to afford the Porsche they just bought that they can't afford.
They
That's what
already
we're
bought
talking
the
about.
Porsche, by the way.
Oh,
Just
for sure
letting
they
you
bought
know.
the Porsche. They did one deal.
Yeah.
By the way, the deal
Payments due.
didn't even close. They bought the Porsche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the joke me and Ryan make all the time.
It's a real thing though.
I know.
And I don't mean to talk shit on everybody who's a realtor out there, but just so you know,
You can. You're a realtor.
I am a realtor.
Yeah, so
you know
can
what?
talk
So in that
shit.
case,
Yeah. It's your
but I mean, yeah, the amount of realtors that I've met that are even high level that do not actually play in the game that they're retailing in. I don't know how to say that. Anyways, it was mind blowing because I came in the opposite. I came in already as an investor for 3-4 years, and I got my real estate license. Sorry to make this about me, but I was shocked at how no one really understood how the game was played. They were all still in that transactional pre-Rich Dad Poor Dad kind of era, and I'm like the gospel. I'm like, they literally had me doing speaking events where I would speak, and they started doing an investment actual meetup at the office, which I thought was really cool of them. I hope I helped somebody. But yeah, they don't know anything, man. And so the point I wanted to make to anyone listening is there's a very different breed of realtor out there. If you find a realtor who has a flashy car and a watch and 0 assets, you need to run. They don't understand what you're doing. They don't understand your game or your pains. They don't understand your markets or your margins or the language for that matter. Not all of them. Maybe there's some guy who does. But what you found, I don't know if was this from Bigger Pockets or you just got lucky.
No, I got lucky. Again, a friend introduced me. And
Maybe it might be the luckiest guy I've ever met.
for me, it's making connections, man.
Yeah.
The more people you know, the more you can talk with people and be like, hey, I'm open.
We are the only losers he knows.
Correct.
Nah, you guys are
Thanks
good.
for hanging out with us, by the way.
Hey, Fabe, so for this property you're looking for, are you looking for it as a rental to move in or a flip?
So I bought my house, and then I bought my house in 2016
Here?
here in California,
Great time to buy.
What city?
Santana.
Santana. Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
Still have it?
By Saco Plaza. Yeah, that's where I live.
Nice.
Is it triple in value?
Bro, it has to have
It
at least
doubled in
Yes.
price. The crazy part, back in 2016, when I bought it, everybody was like, "Oh my god, you're paying too
You're
much
an
for
idiot,
it."
yeah.
Of course.
Now it was one owner, so all couple passed, and the sons just sold it. I rehabbed completely. Like I gutted it, and
And that's how you learned the game about rehabbing and stuff?
crazy. I just by watching Flip or Flop.
Tarek,
these guys.
Al Musa, and Christina, shout
Exactly.
out. Tarek, come on the podcast.
Come on,
How many
bro.
times have you
Be
had talked
cool,
about you?
man.
So it's like I was seeing that, and here construction is so easy, man. It's like wood, drywall. That's
Sure.
And you speak Spanish, it's over.
yeah.
Oh, dude. He's crushing it.
I'm learning the other Spanish now. Like Argentina, it's a different.
Yeah.
It's a
Trabajo
different Spanish.
ahora. Let's go.
Mexican Spanish is like full of slang.
Yeah.
Oh, big
Yes,
time.
I learned that the hard way.
Yeah. So I do my house, and then 2 years later, 2018, I saved money, and I started looking at different markets. I started looking at the 1% rule that Bigger Pockets was talking about.
That's the time when 1% rule worked.
1% rule, it's basically if it is a $200,000 property, you can rent it for $2,000 a month.
Yeah.
That's a quick math, so
Very quick math. Don't hold your breath and think that's the end all be all. Just Google it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So a lot of things started like penciling out, and I ended up buying 2 duplexes at once.
How did you have the money? You sold the stuff in Argentina?
No,
You're just saving money?
I was saving money.
What a gangster, man.
Did you have a wife by this point or what?
Yeah,
Is
wife,
she also
daughter.
saving money?
No, she like stay-home mom.
Wow.
She takes care of
All
So I'm
kids?
guessing you, and you have to tell us the number, but I'm guessing you had a nice high income, like 6 figures, well into 6 figures.
Yeah, six figures. But
But just saving.
saving money, living below the means.
Below your
Again,
means, yeah.
if you're making 5 and you're spending 5, why? I know people that they make 5 and spend 8.
All the people we know are that.
Yeah.
Correct.
So I came here with literally nothing.
Wow.
Like 2 luggages
Wow.
and dreams.
That's
No,
cool.
bro, you came here with $250,000 in cash. Stop lying.
No,
to me.
I still have the apartment back home.
He came
but-
here with that.
But
then
he had the
he went
money.
back, and then he came back with $250,000 in cash. Smart man.
But it's I bought the car of my sister. I drove it until the wheels
Hermana.
fall out. Until the wheels fall out. The paint was peeling. Like again, the car took me from A to B. I did everything I needed to do. And again, like why get into extra expense when I don't have
You'd
to?
already read Rich Dad Poor Dad. So you look at cars differently forever after you
Forever.
read that book.
Forever.
Yeah, interesting.
And
Well, can I stop you real quick and interrupt our flow once again? Sorry, guys. I want to know, like, what's your guilty pleasure, though? Like, what'd you spend some money on? Was it, like, are you, like, a watch guy? Is it a, like, come on. You had to, like, throw in $5,000 at something just to spoil yourself.
I just purchased a motorcycle.
Okay. All right. That's cool.
Other than that, it's, I prefer to spend the money on trips.
Nice.
I like going
Yeah,
out on trips
experiences.
with my family.
Right.
Making sure my kids are doing all the activities that they want to do.
Yeah.
And then, I enjoy eating. So like,
Yeah.
doing barbecues
Good food,
at
yeah.
home. But trying to live like a simple life.
Yeah.
I don't need the bling bling. I don't need, I see so many people just working to pay off,
Yes.
stuff.
We know a lot of those
And that's
people.
kind of what I notice, and it puzzles me how many people are in that boat.
Yeah.
That it's like keeping up with your neighbor.
as somebody who like is actively out having cocktails, meeting and greeting, rub shoulders, bring in podcast guests occasionally, it's actually shocking to me how many people I meet who flash and who have all the right things to say, but are actually asset poor and not really considering their future 5-10 years down the road. It's been a shock to me, in fact. And so anyone listening to this, I hope that you know that like it's cool to have the car and the watch, and you know what? You should have it, but only do it if you've stacked enough assets to where the assets can pay for that. That is the kind of rich dad, poor dad mentality, essentially. Exactly. That's the best way to do it. That adds that security, gets your passive income going, gets your life set up to where you can start to travel with your family, worry less, money works for you. And if you buy real estate, especially in Southern California, like 25 units in California, I already know, like every day Fabian wakes up, his net worth has gone up because he's done all the hard work, and that's why you're already doing well, and you'll just continue to do well. And your kids will have that life that you always wanted. Yeah. You guys are going to have great memories. You're going to travel. You're going to be able to do whatever you want, whenever you want. And that's ultimately everybody's goal, I realize.
Yeah, I think kind of once I had my daughter and my son, everything changed, man. Like, again, it's not about the car. It's not about, if I have I don't even wear watches, it's like, what legacy can I leave behind? Make sure that they're okay. And when they grow up, if I can help them, get on with their life, great. I love that my son, every time I do a flip and I tell him about it, it's like, hey, I bought a new house. He's like, hey, can I go demo it?
How old is he?
He's 7 now.
Nice.
Yeah. So
they're like a sponge at that age. They can help. Yeah. He should be carrying cement at that point.
I know. Doing that, he's crazy about numbers too. So, it's crazy how, for me, like becoming a dad, it's been crazy. It's a lot of responsibility too. I want to make sure that the family is taken care of.
Yeah. That's your why.
Yeah.
Hey, so let's go back to the timeline. We got sidetracked. Yeah. We were still looking for the property with the guy after you bought your first house. And
he just closed on.
I bought two duplexes.
2 duplexes.
Yes.
And it is to rehab. You have to rehab them.
I bought them.
Turnkey.
One property, it had tenants in both units. The other one was vacant because it was owner occupied.
Okay.
So the one that was empty, I had to find new tenants, do the leases. Zero experience. Zero experience. But my friend, the realtor, he helped me like with the contracts. I will ask him questions, and super cool. He was very willing to teach, and that kind of takes a lot of the initial doubts that you have, or guesses that you're like, oh, what am I doing, right? But then again, YouTube, man, I was, I don't know, I found this channel. They were talking how to find a tenant, what to do, what not to do, how to run real estate as a business, not for, for friends, family, or, treat your tenant as a buddy. It's a business, right? So I ended up placing the 2 tenants. I still have one of the tenants still.
To this day.
Until she's there. The other tenants, they just moved because she got pregnant, so they needed a bigger space. And then, but it was crazy. Like the first day I go to the house, the water heater is leaking. So stuff like that.
Closed on it. It's your house.
Yeah, I closed on it.
Day one.
And I was like,
you didn't do any inspection or nothing?
Oh yeah, we did inspection, but
Yeah.
all of a sudden, boom, it started like leaking. But anyway, like it's crazy how we started renting them, and then what is it, like 6-7 years later, the rents went up, the mortgage stayed the same, My math and actually why I bought a duplex, it was that one unit was going to pay for
The whole thing.
the mortgage,
By on year 1 or year 2?
like every month on a monthly basis, right?
right away.
Right away.
Nice. Where was this at? What city?
In Desert Hot Springs.
Okay, DHS. Nice.
So, and the other unit was going to be the cash flow or, repairs, like whatever I needed, the money was there. I kind of want to be conservative too. Like sometimes I don't want to go away too much and not being able to cash flow a lot. So yeah, I got into the duplexes. And then on the other property, I had one of the units, the tenant was not so good, very dirty. It had a bunch of stuff, so I had to move out. And then, I fixed the unit up, and then I got new tenants. Then 2019, I did my first BRRRR deal. I found this house, trashed, bought it, fixed it up, and then I rented it. That tenant cash out refi, and then
So you used cash to buy it?
I bought it cash,
All cash.
all cash,
Your own cash or raised money or
all mine.
nice.
The duplex, what I did is I did
I think
25.
you might be the best saver I've met in my life.
Yeah,
This is crazy.
The immigrant hustle,
Yeah.
like you just can't. You
You
can't compare.
out-immigrant me.
He's out immigrated you,
Yeah.
bro. I think you take the title.
yeah.
There's a trophy. Hold on.
Yeah.
Grab the trophy.
Immigrant
On the couch.
the
Good on
duplex,
you,
what I
bro.
did though, I did 25% 30-year fixed conventional loan.
Nice.
Yeah, so the other one, again, I bought it for $104,000.
What was it? What property was this? 104.
The house.
Which house? I'm so sorry.
The house that I bought and did the BRRRR.
Oh yeah, what city was that in?
Desert Hot Springs too.
It was also DHS.
Only
Interesting.
104,000, huh?
Yeah, that was
104.
2019.
2009. It was one of the
What
last.
scam are we running, bro? We bought a duplex for $500,000.
I'm already doing that math right now. I'm like,
Yeah.
what kind of
Okay,
house
wait,
was
wait.
this?
You bought it for 104. How much did you put into it?
I put like 50 into
Okay,
it.
so you bought it for 150. We bought for 220.
So it was beat up.
It was
essentially.
speed up, but fixed it up, and then the tenant was initially I think they were paying $1,800,
Okay.
and then rents kept going up. Now I think the tenant is paying like $23.
What's the specs on it? It's like a 3.2.
3.2. Yeah. So
Okay. Sorry, we literally have a 3.2.
2,300 single family. That's what he's getting right now.
single family, yes.
Maybe we're overpriced.
Yeah, we're definitely overpriced. Well, I'm literally after this podcast gonna reduce our price. We just listed this new property we renovated
Desert Hot Springs.
in Desert Hot Springs.
Okay.
It's a 3.2.
The name one.
Yeah,
Okay.
we put some money.
Please
It
put,
looks good.
30 to 35 into it.
So, point is, sorry, not to make this about us, but yeah, I love DHS. It's treated us well. Shout out
It's
to,
been good. I like the city. I see the city growing. They're building a Amazon warehouse right now.
Yeah.
It's supposed to employ like 1,200 people.
Yep.
The city is very proactive.
When is that supposed to be finished? What year?
I think like in a few months.
A few months. Nice.
Yeah, I drove by the other day. It's crazy.
Okay. Wow.
It's huge.
Huh.
And I just kept on buying and doubling it. So
Wait, how are you doubling it?
So the duplexes, the house, and then I ended up buying a fourplex in 2020.
Okay.
Where?
What city?
Desert Hot Springs.
Okay.
So
DHS.
I've been buying
okay.
there.
I didn't know you were so heavy in DHS. That's cool.
So a crazy story with the fourplex is that the seller lied on the documents.
It was a single family, wasn't it?
He basically is saying that
He goes there, he's like, what?
You just push the walls down.
like with the rents and stuff like that.
Oh no.
That's
saying that
common. Yeah.
Tenants
The
were paying, they weren't
pro forma.
paying. It was a distressed property, but I think I got it in a good price where it still makes sense. And the crazy story on that is that we closed on January 1st. 1 month in, tenants are not paying. 3 tenants out of the 4 are not paying.
Oh, Jesus,
COVID hits.
man.
and COVID hits.
2020?
But I started the eviction. I had the writ of possession, and then COVID happened. Done. One tenant actually left. Thank God.
The only one paying.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah. I wish.
I'm just like, I assume the worst because we've been in this for 6.5
I know,
years.
man.
So.
It's crazy, like all these stories, man.
Yeah.
It's,
So sorry. I'm just having fun. So one left, thank God. So you're renovating that at least.
I'm renovating that unit while the other 2 units, one is still in drugs and they were armed.
Oh, geez.
And the other unit, it was a family. The guy deadbeat, he was beaten.
This is almost literally Quincy, our first deal. Literally, it's a 3-plex. Sorry to make this about us, but everyone needs to know the Quincy debacle. And if you've been listening to this podcast at any point in time, you already know. It's a triplex. On the left side, deadbeat family. They apparently have all these issues that the last guy didn't talk about. They send their check. They rescind the check. Rescind is the word I'm saying. We were celebrating our first check ever as investors. Like, we're going to make it. It was returned. And I didn't know that was a thing until we were like, oh man, that was a bad day. Middle unit's empty. Actually, that was the only positive turned out. That was a negative. We thought it was a negative, like, oh, no income. That was the best part of this triplex. The right side was the drug dealer that was like armed with shorty and like gangbangers and guys who just, I remember repairing that property, painting it with my stepdad and a couple other vendors, and like actual tweakers scratching their neck would walk up. Like the cliche, like I'm just like, shorty don't live here. Sorry, man.
But at least they were not armed. They were.
No, yeah, I never
peaceful.
felt in danger when working on the property. No one was like, like, it was just like druggers and tweakers and whatever. But point is, sorry. So I feel your pain.
No,
how did you navigate that? Like,
oh man, it was crazy. It took me until like August that I was able to actually go through with the eviction.
August, but when you bought it, what month was that?
January. So like 8 months.
Yeah, we were doing the same thing.
Yeah, because of COVID. Just as everyone knows, when COVID hit, it really put a lot of courts back. A lot of stress because the courts were apparently backed up. And a lot of tenants weren't really getting properly checked on like actual reasonings. Like, I know they weren't really doing the homework on what's your income. No one's really researching that.
I know people were getting government assistance and going out to Vegas.
Yes.
But I have the best story of all time.
Oh, no.
It's only 30 seconds long.
Hit us.
One of the tenants didn't pay this another property in Bakersfield for a year.
Oh.
And the government sent the check to the tenant for not paying.
Yeah, that was a painful. That was a. Yeah, let's move on.
But I got the tenant back. They were trying to buy a house and they called the property management to like see, because I put a thing on their credit.
Oh, nice.
I said, too bad you can't buy a home.
Oh, there we go.
And then I annoyed them for like months, and then I took it off. Yeah.
Karma.
They still walked away with the cash.
Yeah.
So you got an armed drug dealer in one, deadbeat family, newly vacant, and
a paying tenant.
Okay.
So crazy. We get into August. I go to court after trying so many times. I was calling the eviction company. And so we go to court. The lady shows up. And my lawyer's like, hey, you have the case, like 100% is yours. Like, there's no doubt whatsoever. But sheriffs are not doing like the actual lockout. They were backed up and stuff like that. So I had to end up paying her money to live. So kind of like a cash for keys situation. Even though
8 months goes by, and now you're paying her to move out.
Yes. Yeah.
So you learned cash for keys way later in the game.
Even though I had the eviction, like all in favor.
Yeah.
Like
it's because
they had no excuse whatsoever to do anything.
Right.
And still, because the sheriff was not doing lockouts, then my lawyer suggested like just pay them, and done.
What'd you pay them? And did they
Like
leave?
$500. wasn't.
Oh, that's not
Oh,
bad.
okay.
So,
All right. That's actually not that bad.
But still,
And
like,
did you have them like sign something like by this date you're
Oh,
out
yeah.
and the apartment is perfectly clean?
yeah.
Something like that? Yeah.
I mean, they
So
still
you show up at the house with the like a stick.
no, but I
I'm
showed
showing
up
up
to
with
the
a
house
shotgun.
and
I'm buying a shotgun that day.
yeah, they were armed still, and
But,
they tagged the
Sure,
property.
sure,
Now after they got out, the other guy got out. All the tenants in the other buildings, they were taking me thanks. Like, this place is so much quieter now.
Oh,
like,
really? That's nice.
So I rehabbed the units, and crazy stories. Like the last guy, the paying tenant, he was actually the first guy that I served him a 60-day notice to vacate, and he asked me, "Can I please stay?" And because he was paying, I was like, "Okay, you can stay, but at some point I'm going to have to ask you to leave, so I can finish rehabbing the place." He's like, "Yeah, that's fine, no worries." That day comes, I'm like, "Hey, you gotta move." He's like, "I'm not moving."
He just says it like that.
Yeah.
And
how
he
it
was
goes.
paying rent?
It was like super low rent.
Okay.
Like, nothing. And when I was rehabbing, and I knew, we had the drug dealers and stuff like that, and I put security cameras throughout the property. So one day I get a phone call that there's a truck parked on the alley, and I'm like, whose truck is that? So we call the police. They show up. It's the daughter sleeping in the truck. So all of a sudden, the daughter showed up, and now she's living with the dad at the property, but she's not on the lease. So even though, I was, hey, you need to move, I had to end up doing an eviction on them because the daughter was living at the property more than 14 days in a row through the year. That's how I was able to get that tenant out at the end of the day. Anyway, fast track it. I finished rehabbing the whole thing.
Biggest takeaway, learning lesson from that. What was it?
Don't trust people.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyone listening, what he meant by don't trust people is actually the seller. Do your due diligence, check bank statements, and then basically review the tenants you're about to inherit as if you are the one placing them. We've made the same mistake, which is why I'm preaching it so fervently.
Sometimes as an investor, you do take some of the risks, especially if you're buying a distressed property, knowing that you're going to have issues with tenants.
Sure.
You got to be prepared to do an eviction and be able to write it.
Yep.
Luckily I have the whole building rehabbed. Tenants now are paying. It's great.
Awesome.
And then during that time, because I couldn't work on this property because of the tenants, when COVID happened, I closed on another house, which again, it was, I guess somebody started fixing it and they ran out of money and COVID happened and maybe they got afraid and they were like, you know what, I'm out.
So it sold to you for a discount?
We ended up buying it for $177.
Okay.
We put 15,000, 20,000 into it.
Still Desert Hot Springs?
Mm-hmm.
Man, is most of your portfolio there?
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, I've been buying there. And then the cool thing is once you know the city, you start learning the streets, you start knowing vendors, local people.
Yeah, I mean, that's
so you
the
start
way to do
creating
it,
your
yeah.
network.
Yeah. That's called economies of scale.
Yeah.
For anyone listening. Yeah.
And then, I have my guys out there, the crews. If I have any issues, call them up.
You got stacks of vendors at this point.
Yeah. Even with the property management now, it's so much
who do you use?
It's a local company out there. It's called All County.
Okay.
They even give me a better pricing for having all the units.
Nice.
What do you pay? 6%?
They charge me 7% right now,
bad.
but usually it's 10.
That's
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
So anyone listening, that basically means because he's got all these units, he has this leverage where if he can give it to one management company, he can negotiate that rate down from 10 to 7.
You should talk to Tom.
Yeah.
He manages our portfolio in Inland Empire. He gives me the same rate.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I gotta talk to Tom.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. He's coming here next week probably. You gotta get him in here.
Let's do it.
Yeah. And so that was my second burr in a way. So we bought it, put money, fixed it, and then actually that was we placed a Section 8 tenant
Nice.
on that.
Guaranteed
Okay.
income
All right. He
during
said
COVID.
it. He said it in a way. Please finish that story.
Yeah. So Section 8 tenant, again, it was COVID. I was like, I don't want to have to go through an eviction because, again, if I place a tenant and they cannot pay, at least I get money from the government on the first. Perfect, right? Great. So tenant moves in. All of a sudden, 4 kids, plus some guy showed up and was also staying there.
6 cats.
No, I
3
think she
cats.
had a one dog.
There's always a pet. Sorry.
Yeah.
So it was 2 adults, 4 kids.
Yeah. And every
dog.
time I will do an inspection on the house, I because it was a Section 8, I try to do like an inspection every quarter.
Nice. Smart.
And every time I will go, like, again, brand new paint, like smears of hands throughout everywhere, just dirty. And kind of that was my experience with Section 8 is that, unfortunately, they get to that point and they do not care about the property whatsoever. It's like they're not paying for it.
How much were they paying per month out of their actual pocket? Like $25 or something?
No, like maybe $100, $200
Yeah.
maybe.
So they have no value. They don't really care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing.
Okay.
So they had nothing of their own money into it.
I don't want to say it's the same when you buy tickets for some people, but it's the same.
It's the same. Yes, it's
When you don't like earn
interesting.
it,
I stopped giving money to the homeless after the McDonald's down here in Bristol. I was walking in one day. This is in my 20s, years ago. And I was the first to, like, everyone, like, if I made money, it was your money now. Like, I was hyper generous. And I still am very generous, I'm a very measured person now. Now I have a party. It's a fundraiser, right? Like, but it's on my terms. I'm the one sending the money. Point is, homeless guy, he's hassling me for money. And I'm like, I mean, are you hungry? He's like, yeah, he kind of lies. Well, I'll just come on in. I'll buy you anything on that menu. Name it. And I'm just a broke 20-year-old. And he was yelling at me and this and that, realizing he just wanted drugs, of course.
Yeah.
But in your 20s, you're just like, what? Like, this broke my reality. And then fast forward, I have many instances where I've done these big handouts and favors for people. And I remember taking my family to Hawaii, and it was just after COVID. And I ended up paying for a couple of family members that to this day are just, everyone in my family's broke as hell. It's fine. But I really wanted everyone there. I really wanted to see everybody. That's my why, is like, just I want to travel with my family and people I love. Like, I want to travel with Vince, our boy. Like, it's my favorite. There's no other point to making money. And so I made it happen. And lo and behold, the 2 people that didn't pay for it were the least grateful. I've never heard anyone say I hated Hawaii. I never heard that before in my life. And I had 2 people say it.
They refused to go to the house. That was the best
and I
part.
still love them just the same. And if they asked me for anything, here's my shirt. But that would be the last time I'd do anything like that, for sure. Yeah. So to your point, Section 8 tenants, nothing against Section 8. It's fine. You get that easy money. It's guaranteed. It's government funded. By the way, what that means is the government's putting up probably $1,000 or whatever to the tenants, 100. But see, that's what you're doing though, is you're not incentivizing that tenant to give a shit, to care, to take care of the property. And we've had that same experience where we would go to the inspections and be like,
How are you living like that?
Dude, like hoarder, like that show Hoarders where they're like walking on the stuff. That was our property.
So
was it that bad for you, or?
It wasn't like a hoarder type of situation, but it's just dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you're like doing the math every time you walk through. You're like, oh, this is gonna be 20.
Yeah.
This is 30.
It's like a poor people thing. My dad, he's not really poor, but he would hoard stuff. Like if he comes to my house, he's leaving with something from like the trash. Like he'll take my old CPU and he'll fix it and he'll give it to some other.
I'm gonna
person.
one up your embarrassing I'm poor mentality story. When we would travel, with my grandmother and my uncle and stuff. We'd vacation every year or most years. Where just basically be us boys thrown into a truck in the desert, and we would just drive out and be in like Utah. And we'd come out to California from Kansas. And my grandmother would always steal something. It'd be an ashtray, a bathrobe, all of the soaps, like every time. So she just had like just boxes of like Best Western, because we were broke as hell, you know. And
but it's like a thing. That's why like I have like a thing with anything in the house. If you leave your watch here, it's in the trash tomorrow. I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
like I'll throw it away.
I'm a minimalist.
I don't want to have that kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, I like minimalism too.
Yeah.
You know, but
we keep getting distracted. So.
I know. So you got the Section 8 tenants.
Section 8, like 1 year before the year ends, I'm like, hey, non-renew. You got to move out. So for Section 8, you actually have to do 90-day
no matter
notice.
what, no matter how long they were staying there.
Yeah, so you have to notify Section 8. So because they have to hopefully
to
reapply
government.
to another place, and everything takes longer. You will call Section 8. They don't care, man. They're like overwhelmed. They're like, hey, now it's your issue, you know. And I'm like, hey, it's breaking your rules. You know, it's like all these programs that they meant to be good and do good. They ended up, you know, hurting, and you know they don't work at the end. They just keep pouring money into it, and I mean there's no consequences, because you might have a Section 8 that is a great tenant too. I'm not saying they don't exist.
You could interview them too. So for people listening, you know, it's not all Section 8 tenants are bad. We've had some Section 8 tenants. One of them in Warren Avenue, 407 Warren. We had that in Bakersfield.
Yeah, he was cool. Yeah, he was nice.
You know, he wasn't like terrible, but he's kind of like, you know, he kind of hoards. He kind of like fills up the curb, and then we get letters from the city. We'll be like, hey, bro, you got to do it. And he will do it because they don't want to get kicked out of the program. But there is a way to do it where you interview them and you get like the best Section 8. Because, you know, usually like if you have families, they don't want to go off the voucher, because if they really mess up your property, you can throw them out of the Section 8 and they're homeless.
True, but again, like the whole process to do that, it's so extensive.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you thought about investing in real estate and taking advantage of all of those benefits without any of the work? That is something that OnV Invest not only provides, but has been providing since its inception. With friends and family, we have built an empire and a system of a wealth-generating tool that is giving us and our friends and family that leverage in their life to create true wealth. Go to onvinvest.com for more to see if you qualify, and thanks for listening.
That it's like, I just want to move on.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, fix it up, put a new tenant in.
Because it's a government program, there is no competition, therefore there is no incentive.
By the way, if you're in California, you cannot say no to a Section 8 applicant.
Mm-hmm.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Pros and cons.
Yeah.
So you're getting this person out.
So we get the tenant out. We again like painted it, make it look good. New tenant in, perfect.
Nice.
So
by the way, just out of curiosity, what's your like tenant screening? Like, what's that process look like for you?
So now I have a property management company that they take care of that. When I started doing it, it was at least a 650 and up score. I was looking at pay stubs, job history.
You like 2.5 times income,
stuff like that. You know, just like the basic stuff.
Only 3 evictions. We allow 3. Only 3 though. Okay, I'm just kind of curious. Okay,
but and then like, you know, I will meet them when I will actually go open the door.
Nice.
You know, I will set up the appointments initially. And, you know, if I felt like a good vibe and, you know.
It is vibe.
Yeah.
It is vibe for sure. Okay.
You can tell when a person gives you like some weird tone or like entitlement. You can just
tell when something's off. Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
But sometimes some people are getting very good at it, and you know, they can pass through.
Which one?
Like, you know, just
we're talking about just screening tenants.
Yeah, screening people.
You know, that's a whole different game.
But you know, that house now, it pretty much more than doubled.
Nice.
The rent's doubled
in just
too?
a couple of years.
Yeah, rent is like probably like 24, 25.
Okay.
And we're cash flowing like $1,000 a month. On that.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. So and then just kept on buying. I did another house where I split it into two, and then it had a detached car garage, so I made it into an ADU. So from one house, I ended up getting 3 units.
What city was that?
Desert Hot Springs.
DHS.
Yeah.
Were the permits hard to navigate on that?
No, not really. The city is very easy to work with.
Nice.
I'm actually in the process of doing another garage conversion right now. So we submitted the plans to planning, waiting to hear back on that. So, the city needs housing, and they're proactive.
Nice.
They've been good.
It's just been like pulling teeth here. We got a property in Santa Ana where everything's ready to be permitted. They're just not answering the emails. Like
they're hitting us with all kinds of fines. As soon as I hit them with the law, they disappeared.
Did you guys went to City Hall?
No, we have a guy, Richard Garcia, our guy. He goes to city for us. But because, the California, they passed the AMD amnesty law. So the ones they were fining us on, I sent them the law and said, take back all the fines and you have to permit it. And if you want me to apply for a permit, you tell me what I need to get and you have to pay for it. That's the law. So they just like, oh, okay.
And since he threw that at them, by the way, that was a YouTube video that he learned that from, which is like,
there's so much information out there, man.
It's wild, and it's changing all the time. Yeah. So it's like, it's kind of like that Grant Cardone book, Be Obsessed or Be Average. Like, it's kind of true. Like,
it is true.
You have to be a little bit of a maniac about something. And this doesn't have to be real estate for anyone listening. If you become a maniac about, I don't know, anything, like, let's say you just want to make shoes, whatever, you could crush it. You could be the next big shoe guy, Nike or whatever it is, if you were that obsessed. But you do have to be obsessed because there's just like, there's so much competition now. There's so much noise out there that, if you're not obsessed, you're not going to
be open to like talk to people, ask them about their experience or what fears you have. Like, what's going on with you that, it's like, hey, I have this issue.
Yeah.
Do you know anybody who's been here? How do they solve it?
Yeah, you've reached out to me a couple times. Just asked me very matter of fact, like, hey, I got this thing happening. What do you think?
Yeah.
I actually wish I did that more earlier in our real estate career.
Mm-hmm.
You just had this very matter of fact, like humble, like, hey, I'm dealing with this thing. Like, what do you think? You have a vendor?
Yeah.
And that is gold. Like, and every time I'm like excited to help you, I'm like, oh yeah, I got a guy. Like, let me text you. Like, and it's like so funny. Like, anyone listening to this, if you're trying to do something, hustle, business, whatever, just reach out to people who are crushing it. Yeah. You'd be surprised. We're excited to like help people. Like, oh, please don't make these mistakes. Here's my contractor. Here's his number. Have it. Like,
I know. I had issues with contractors too, where I had to, file a claim. Again,
it's always something.
I thought I was in the wrong. I was like, I'm over my head. Like, what have I done? And then I asked a friend. He's an electrician, and I'm like, hey, I have this situation. And he's like, talk to this guy. He's a general contractor, but he does like crazy projects, like big commercial stuff. Super cool guy. I get on the phone with him. I'm like, hey, this is what happened. The guy's like, okay, send me all the paperwork that you have. Give me a story of, what's going on. And he goes through the stuff and he's like, dude, this guy is fucked. Like, so many things that as a contractor he missed and he couldn't do. Like, for example, he threatened me to terminate. Well, actually, he sent me a notice of cancellation because I didn't approve something within 3 days. So a contractor can never push you or force you to approve something in a matter of like, a couple of days, right? Mm-hmm. So stuff like that, or he quoted stuff that he didn't do. And anyway, like, it took me a year to go through the whole process, but I ended up winning the case. He ended up paying me, and another thing I learned is that you have the bond insurance, right? Usually the bond insurance is $25,000, but if you're an investor, the bond will only pay you $7,500.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, because it's an investment. You have to be homeowner.
Again, I can understand, but that doesn't make any sense. Like, why is it reduced so much?
It's a higher risk, so they're hedging against the risk, so that's all they want to pay.
Interesting.
Homeowners will have a lot.
Or maybe
risk.
they think that as an investor, you know more than a homeowner. Maybe I don't know.
Or you have money. I remember one of my mistakes in helping, fix up our first couple properties is I would tell people, "Oh yeah, I'm one of the owners." And it was a mistake, dude. I don't think I had even hair on my chin. And obviously, you know what that translates to. Then every time I'm there, they're like, "Oh, I have a new mold problem." It was just nonstop.
Yeah.
So,
No, I usually like if I see a tenant, it's like, hey, I'm the property management, or I manage the property for investors. Period.
That's the move.
I try to separate that.
Yeah.
But then what I like doing, like every time I go and go out there to Desert Hot Springs, I drive through every single property, and if I see something, I take photos and I send it to the property management. Again, property management is there, but they're not going to take care of the property like you would as the owner.
100%.
Yeah, for sure.
I just like to keep them clean, make them, look good, and two things. One is definitely like keeping the value of the property, but also making sure that the tenants are being responsible and stuff like that. Yeah. But yeah, other than that, what else?
So are all your so hold on, you've been doing BRRRRs now. You've been basically like this, what year is this? 2020, 2021? It's all BRRRRs, it's all cash. When did you start flipping?
Initially, I started buying with conventional loans, 25%. Then I started buying cash. I did refis. The Fourplex, I bought it with a loan as well.
Got it.
And then flipping, I started in 2021. We bought a place in Santa Ana as well. So initially, we did a house. It was a 17,000 square feet lot. We converted it into 4 Airbnb units, and that kind of took us to start doing flips because we fixed the house.
I'm confused.
So I started doing that with the realtor, my friend.
It's a flip or it's an Airbnb?
So we started we did an Airbnb, but we had to fix the property up. So we bought a distressed
so you renovated
property.
it first.
Yeah, we renovated the whole property.
You made it or Fourplex, or you bought it as a Fourplex?
So technically, it was a house with an addition, and then it had a romper on top of the garage. So we had the romper, a unit. We converted the garage into another unit, and then the addition of the house, we closed it and made it into the other unit.
And then furnished it.
We furnished it, and we had it on Airbnb for roughly 3 years.
Okay.
Property appreciated, and we ended up selling it in December of last year.
Cool. What percentage did we net on that, would you say?
I think we made probably, I don't know the exact number right now. But we made some money on it.
Made some profit on it.
Yeah.
And why did you decide to sell it? Why not keep it, keep that money rolling?
Well, the thing is, Airbnb, it's you're a concierge. You gotta be answering messages.
And were you the one doing all that, or
My friend was doing it.
Okay.
He was more in charge of that. We had some conflicts there as well. But the thing was that basically the Airbnb is, again, it's another business. You gotta be on top.
Yep.
A lot of guests are petty. So, they will say...
Petty.
or petty?
Petty.
Yeah.
Sorry, my...
I'm
got
just
2 immigrants.
He's
Come on,
deciphering for me for the audience.
You are racist.
But
Petty.
petty.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things that I remember talking to him. This is a couple years into managing it, and it was just all me and like a VA. It took me 3 tries to find a VA, and I'm like, bro, it's not like it's bad. It's just like I just feel like it's death by 1,000 paper cuts. Yeah. Like it's never like, oh, this is such a terrible issue. It was just like a nonstop, like this, and this, and this. Oh, well, the Wi-Fi, and I can't find the door, and I'd be taking phone calls. Like I'm celebrating my friend's birthday. It's like one of my best friends. It's 11 o'clock at night, and I'm taking phone calls because somebody's wielding a gun across the street. Yeah. Call 911. I hope you're okay.
Right.
Have a good night. Like what do you want from me? You know?
Yeah. But it's like they expect because you're the host that you're gonna solve everything and more.
Yeah, that's true.
But that experience with that property actually led us into starting doing flips. So that was kind of
so
like...
you went to Airbnb 2 years and you're like, or 3 years and you're like, no, never mind. And you're like, let's just flip properties. Is that what you thought?
No, so while we had the Airbnb going,
you decided
because like we were able to rehab the property and work together as a team.
I see.
With my partner, we were like, hey, let's look into flips.
Yeah.
So we just started doing one. We bootstrapped everything. So
nice.
we just went in, put the money, got hard money loan, got in, did the rehab, got out. And then that led to another one and another one and another one.
Yeah.
Last year.
So why did you start flipping then? Were you in need of cash and you were like, this is the way to do it?
Flipping, it was, again, I still had my web business.
Oh, you're still doing that?
I still have it.
It's still your job.
It's not like 100%. I still do it. I still have clients calling,
You know how many times I hear people say, hey, I'm going to start a business and quit my job in a couple of years. I'm like, yeah, probably not. Yeah. Like I still have my other thing. He's still got his W-2. So.
I mean, we have to.
But like if it's making money, why would he leave?
Of course.
It's...
And if you like it.
Yeah, if you
I
like
it.
I mean, over time, like, again, I've done it for so many years that I kind of like lost the passion that or the excitement. Now,
you're probably so efficient at it that you're like, you can almost kind of like just do it.
Yeah, for me, like lately, it's been being able to delegate more and more and more.
Yeah.
So again, I don't want to be the one doing the graphic design. I don't want to be the one like actually coding.
Right.
I'm like, okay, I might talk to the client. What do you need?
Yep.
Get you the proposal. Boom. Close the business, and then have my team.
Yep.
Get it out. Same thing with construction, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be there. Like even though like sometimes I like going and demoing and like doing
it's fun
handyman work.
We're doing it every weekend
just for like distraction, right? Like I might go to the house and while I'm walking, I'm like, oh, we need the doorstop or we need this, and it's like I'm making a note, and that also kind of helps me be on top of what else is needed. And make sure like the crew has the material or like whatever is needed to get the project done. And initially like it was we were spending like 3-4 months on a flip. The fastest one we've been able to do, it's been 6 weeks.
Dang.
Construction. So
okay, so I want to the last few minutes I want to hit you on current events. So give us the numbers for the last flip you did.
Last flip.
That you finished. You already sold it.
So we currently have 3 on the market right now. We are putting the 4th one in like 2 weeks. We're wrapping it up. So the last one that we sold, it was...
What purchase price did you buy it?
That one we bought it for $940, I think.
Okay, and what was the ARV?
So we sold it for 1.2.
No. What? So when you bought it, it was 1.2 was the ARV?
He wants to know what's the ARV upon purchase.
Yeah, the purchase.
Yeah. So, we sold it for 1.2.
And then how much did you put in?
Okay.
We put like 120.
120, 940. Oh, so you made like what, 50, 60 grand or something?
Yeah. So it's like, again, like I'm not shooting for like home runs. It's very hard.
You're playing, the numbers so well that you're okay with the tight margins.
I mean, sometimes you just break even too, right? Luckily, I haven't had one that I lost my shirt on it. It's
You lost some on like couple bucks,
or break even. Like maybe I lost like 5,000, but then I made extra on another one.
Yeah.
Again, like the market changed the last couple of months.
You were saying it's kind of weird right now.
Prior to, these few months, like, with the new administration and stuff like that, you were having like over asking offers. We had like $100,000 over asking on one of the flips. So
what effect does this new administration have, do you think?
I don't know.
I get like political, but I'm kind of curious as to what weight that carries.
No, I think for me, it's like the volatility that it brought to the market. People are just like afraid. They're trying to see what's going to happen.
Sure.
Tariff, inflation.
Yeah.
All I know and I think is that, all these governments, whatever they do, they're going to keep printing money.
Sure.
Because that's how kind of the government is run. They need more money to afford all these programs and so on. Maybe, in Argentina, Milei, he got in and he's been lowering inflation. He started like taking all this extra fluff of the government out.
Didn't he turn a profit or something, right?
What?
There was no more deficit, right, for the first time in Argentina.
Exactly, because like he started like getting rid of all these
it's super socialist there, right?
departments. Yeah, it's been socialist for like many years.
He did Doge before Doge.
Yeah, so he brought the chainsaw.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
He's a big fan of
what year was this?
He got elected 2 years ago.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
They're tied to the US dollar now, right?
Yeah, so they're trying to. Hopefully, he can do it. He wants to get rid of the peso and just make sure Argentina is like US dollar.
Gotcha. Just more stable.
More stable. Yeah.
And since you're already kind of been for years, kind of technically backed by the US dollar, he's just like, let's just do it.
I mean, Argentina is not backed by the US dollar. Like the real estate market,
it's based on it.
The
real estate. Yeah.
Because that holds value. Like in Argentina, it's like US dollar is like, up here.
Sure.
So like the peso is just, it burns in your pocket. Like you want to spend it because you go buy a Coke today for, $1. Tomorrow it's gonna be $1.20. And next day 150, and it keeps on going up.
Right.
Yeah, they have 100% inflation. You know how we're crying about 2.7? It's 100%.
Where?
In
Argentina.
For like the last 10, 20 years. Every year.
That is insane.
No,
so if you don't get a 100% raise in your salary, you need to like die.
That is wild.
Yeah.
So now Milei, he's been like removing all these departments. Now, again, what side of the coin are you on? If you were a government employed, you might get hurt and be like, oh, I have no job now, right? But then the government basically stops printing money. That printing of the money generates inflation.
Yes.
And I mean, I kind of have a deja vu in the US where like when COVID happened, I see like all this money that got pumped into the system. And, it's crazy. Like if you had assets prior to COVID, you just like, boom, shot up like crazy. Just because everybody went into real estate, into hard assets and trying to get more. If in Argentina, what happened too is that the first year, kind of like the economy tanked. And now, hopefully, I think Argentina, what it needs is to change the labor law. So it's more favorable for companies.
Oh, nice.
Because like now, if you have an employee in Argentina, it's so hard to get rid of them. You gotta pay them, crazy amounts, and it just doesn't make sense.
So it's the socialism thing you were talking about.
Yeah, it's just like we were in Europe for a month almost.
Yeah.
It's over. Like, it's like you could see like a once great civilization is what I see. Spain and Greece, done.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to work.
It's too socialist for it to work, and that's why there's the Brexit thing, and that's why everyone knows it's like only certain parts of Europe, certain parts of certain countries are the whole engine of the economy.
It's just Germany. They're literally bringing
just
everybody.
Germany, and also I think it was like North Italy or South Italy.
No, Italy is like negative for sure.
Yeah. Well, they have that in population too, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
people are leaving too, right?
You know what puzzles me, it's how America, such a capitalism, country, it's going to socialism.
Yeah,
and it's like
America is.
Yeah, I mean,
like
before the administration, for sure.
They're giving you money.
Oh, the last administration. Yes.
But again, like sometimes you do need to have social programs.
Sure,
right?
of course.
Yeah.
But it's like, do something. Like go clean, the freeways or the parks.
Say what you will about like Elon, not to get political, but like he's not the richest guy in the world by far, by the way, by accident. Like he knows efficiency, he knows his numbers, he knows how to run things. And it sounds like he's taking a play out of maybe this guy in Argentina. I'm so sorry his name. Milei. Like he's a man of history.
No, Milei likes Elon Musk.
Does he?
Yeah.
Well, the point is he's going in, he's trimming fat. This is just to talk about me for a second. I've got another business, and that has been doing. It's finally like looking like, holy shit, this is working really well. Like all of a sudden, but a big part of that is because I'm trimming fat.
Yeah.
I'm just like cut. What's that? Cleaning fee is what? No. It's this, or I will move on.
Yeah, but
like straight
any
up.
company, like even real estate, if you have rentals, you cannot be paying so much money for a turnover because how are you gonna make it back, right?
Every day.
Stuff like that. Any company, you gotta be careful with what you're spending and what you're bringing in.
Correct.
So the government should be run as a company as well, in a way, right?
And that's why I think there should be something that audits the government itself.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with government is it's just like they don't care. Like there's no one really checking their work until now.
It's all the corruption that's going on behind the scenes and again, political stuff, right?
Sorry.
I mean, both sides are the same. It doesn't even have to be political.
Yeah.
Both sides print money. I'm sure Trump will print money too.
Sure.
But every country prints money. It's just I was talking to someone recently. Maybe this is something for everybody listening to think about. Is they were saying about she was in the house. We were talking about we need to really give help people out, and we have to take care of people. And then at the same time, she was saying, everything is so expensive. And I'm just thinking, are you just dumb? Like how do you think we're paying for that? Like,
who was this?
I'll tell you later. But
okay.
Or look at it like every politician is like, oh, we need affordable housing, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Go get a permit.
Yeah.
Try to connect to Edison, gas, sewer.
Everybody wants their cut.
It's amazing. It's like all of a sudden to connect something, it's you're paying thousands and thousands of dollars, and then go to the city, get a permit for an ADU. It's like $5,000-$10,000, and just fees.
But it's like they're saying like it's like saying like you want to help my mom, let's just say, right? Mm-hmm. But you are homeless on a bridge, and then you're like calling my mom and we're like, here's $1,000. Where did you get $1,000? That's literally US. US doesn't have money, and it's printing money and it's giving it to people. And then everybody who's working in the US has to pay the price, right? Now, we figured out a code, which is if you buy assets, it's going to help us.
Right.
But I want to have people know, like, if you don't have assets, we will keep doing this. Every country does this.
Yeah.
It's like, you better buy
I'm all
assets.
about handouts. I'm all about once in a while, like help somebody out. Things happen, of course. But I'm also about tempering that on the other side with some incentive, understanding human psychology has been a huge game changer in my financial success. Just psychology of a human being, game changing, and understanding specifically in this context how to incentivize somebody to do and to not do something, which is full circle. You ready? The reason why you started investing in real estate. You've had those tax years where you're like, I thought I was crushing it, and you owe the government like.
Yeah, but it's like why have the government take the money if I can keep it and invest it and make something out of it?
That was a big part of the reason for me starting off into real estate. because I remember having that year when I was just teaching guitar and I was like, still bartending or something, but just working my butt off, and barely making enough to whatever. And I remember going to H&R Block and some old lady in glasses who does not give a shit about me was like, cool, you owe $5,000 and some change or whatever it was, which was like all the savings I had back then. And I literally said out loud, how does anyone get ahead? Like, I worked so hard this year. Yeah. It was so pathetic. And she's just like, well, that just was what it is. You have the check? And I remember walking out fuming. I was so pissed. I was like, I got to figure something out, And then, fast forward a few years later, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Obviously, there's back to anyone who's actually really listening. The incentives are there for real estate guys like us to invest, improve, and rent out real estate. That's why we're able to have these, I guess you can call it a tax loophole. It's just an incentive to do those things. That's why depreciation is there. That's why we have these cost segregation and all that stuff. The reason why is because the government wants you to make jobs, wants you to improve housing, to make housing in general. So, sorry, I'm going off.
Yeah, so it's there in the tax code. If you can get in there. I know like a lot of people is like, I cannot afford Orange County. Go like 2 hours away, like start, like get your feet wet and get in the game at some point. Because a lot of people is like, I would love to, and they end up in the analysis paralysis, and they never take the plunge into doing something.
Yeah.
Now I know, like, again, California is tough to get in. Like prices are high and stuff. I know people like buying in other states. Now, people that buy in other states, you really gotta know the team there, make sure that they're solid. That's why like Detroit, I was like in and out, and I'm not going again. It's like you learn like some markets are cheap for a reason.
Yeah.
And, it's like you might be able to buy a property for cheap, but then let's say even if it appreciates 10%, like if you're buying a $50,000 house, it appreciates. You're going to make what? Like
$5,000.
In California, you're buying, a $200,000 house. It appreciates 5%, and the numbers are
and
different.
By the way, it definitely appreciates more than that. Like for sure. Well, here in like Orange County.
Yeah.
But the Orange County comment that you guys had is a good, trigger warning for everybody listening right now. Here we go, right? Is like when people say, they told us the same thing. They were laughing at us, like, why are you investing in Bakersfield? You guys are losers. I'm like, okay, cool. We'll talk to you in 5 years. Right? People who say like, you cannot afford Orange County. I'm like, yeah, you shouldn't afford Orange County because you're worthless. Like you don't have any skills in life that you should not be able to live next to me, because what have you brought to the world? You're 22 and you make $60K. No, why should you live next to me? Go live somewhere else, because it doesn't make sense, right? You haven't bought. It's like they're going to Newport Beach and they're like, I should be able to afford. Why? Leonardo DiCaprio lives there. Were you in Titanic? Oh, you weren't? Well, then shut up then. You can't live there. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Go buy in Bakersfield.
It's about creating value.
And then slowly, eventually, you can live here, right?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, people live above their means. And, I feel like sometimes it's like a broke society where it's like, I have this flashy car, brand new, and then you're just working to pay for a lease.
Yeah.
And
by the way, on a liability.
And it depreciates. You're paying like $1,000 or $1,500 on a lease. For what? Like,
and again, I actually think you should like have the Porsche or the whatever, like have the nice thing if it really like fills your soul, like, and you really love it. But if you're doing it to impress the Joneses, and especially if you really can't afford it, or in buying it, it causes you financial stress, and now you have to really hustle, you're messing up. Yeah. The whole thing about Rich Dad Poor Dad is buying it after you've already got assets.
Have the assets pay for it, and that's kind of been my plan for many years is like, hey, let's grind it. And luckily, you know, my wife, she's on board with this. She supports me 100%. We're not like, you know, trying to go shopping every weekend and, you know, like living like a minimalistic lifestyle that we got everything. We got the house, the kids, they're healthy, you know, food every day. Like, you know, if we're gonna take a trip, let's go take a trip. Again,
What else is there? That's all you need.
I don't need to go in a 5-star hotel. Like, I'm gonna go to sleep. You know, like I want to go and experience things. I go and you know, be out, like nature, and kind of disconnect, you know. But we've been taking the kids hiking since they were babies.
Awesome.
You know, so
love that.
Yeah, it's been good.
We do our hiking meetings once in a while.
With rattlesnakes.
Nice.
We saw 3 rattlesnakes on one hike, but the third one we just turned around.
Who got more scared?
No
I would have
comments.
been killed if he was not there because I didn't see all 3 of them. I was going to
Yeah,
step on
I'm
him.
like, oh, yeah, careful. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah, bro, there's another rattlesnake. Well, the first 2 were babies, and then there was like the big one. The big one was like, cool, I'm out now. For whatever reason, they were just all over. But no, the point is hike outdoors, nature,
Sunlight.
that's your why.
Yeah.
But now we're kind of getting to that time, about an hour and a half in, but Fabian, I like to kind of hit our guests with like deeper questions, like, because there's a lot of people listening that's probably in that analysis paralysis mode. What helped you to overcome the fear of your first or second deal?
I think there is nothing that I can really say that will help people. It's just like, take the leap. Make sure you do analyze the numbers. Again, talk to a friend that has done it, an investor. Like, have somebody that you can
Have a mentor.
or a mentor to. Somebody that can, at least on the first one, hold your hand, take you in. Again, maybe.
But even with that, like, why? Why do it? What was your why?
What part?
Because it's super rare to invest in real estate. It's super rare.
I think it's like 1% or something.
Yeah, to take the chances that us in this room have taken. Like, we forget that because we all hang out. We're like, oh, it's just what we do. So what made that click for you? I'll tell you what it did for me, if that helps. For me, it was that day in the H&R Block office where I had to pay $5,000. It was all the 5 I had. It was that, but it was also in reading the book and just wanting more. I was lucky to have the first friends I made here, they're all their dads own businesses in real estate. So I'm just a student. I'm just like, yeah, we're okay. And like, I was just like, because for me, my big why was I just wanted freedom. Yeah. I had a brother die in a car wreck 20 years ago. And that really put it right there in the front. Like, instead of saying, oh, life is short, you know, like, no, like, it actually is. And you really don't know. Yeah. And so for me, since that day, I realized, okay, this could end anytime. I want to enjoy as much as I can. I want to travel. I want to have good food, spend time with people I enjoy spending time with, both you guys. I like anything I can do to just squeeze as much juice out of this short life I can. So that's my why. Experiences.
My why, again, I think my kids, my family.
Yeah,
that's my.
But you started before though, so come on.
No, I had true. But what really clicked, again, like, I bought my apartment when I was single. Right.
So that's kind of that's the move. So what was in your brain before that move? That's a big move, bro.
Yeah.
Cash. You bought an apartment in cash. So what was in your head where you're like, fuck it, I'm doing this?
Again, like, in Argentina, you have the money. Like, I had the money. Mm-hmm. Like, what can I do with it? And in Argentina, it's like everybody you just park it in bricks, in real estate.
Okay. But why not buy the Porsche?
Yeah, we don't kind of do that, like, even in India. Nobody's doing that Porsche stuff.
Well, the Porsche in Argentina, I will probably get killed.
Yeah.
Out on the street.
Okay, well, equivalent to that, why not just go blow it on something? Why buy an investment property? That's really the question.
I don't know. I feel like I'm responsible that way. I
Just
had
hardwired to just
Yeah, I
save and
mean,
go.
you know, again, immigrating here when I was 15,
Yeah.
starting from nothing, no English,
Yeah.
no friends. You know, I was focusing in school, in getting a job,
So you just
and making money.
grew up just to like work hard, save, be smart. Parents.
Yeah. Work hard, yeah, man. It's you know, my family, they had a clothing factory in Argentina. We were robbed many times.
Robbed?
Yeah.
Dang.
I got I was at the factory once, and 3 guys came with guns.
Jeez.
They put me down on the floor, and
Dang.
I thought I was done.
Dang,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
That's
I got
wild.
like robbed out on the street. Like they took my watch, they took my shorts, they took my shirt,
Wow.
my shoes.
Is it still like that? Or
Yeah, in some parts, yeah.
dang, man.
Yeah.
So vacation?
So
I mean, there are
Boys
nice
trip?
areas, you know. But again, like stuff can happen. I had my car parked once. It had a sunroof. I left it for like an hour. Got back. They popped the glass out, and you know.
They stole the car?
No, not the car.
just
the
just
sunroof.
the roof.
They just stole the sunroof?
Yeah. My uncle had a car too, and they would like steal the wheels.
Are you sure you didn't grow up in India?
Dude, Argentina.
That's wild, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right, I want to hit you with another rapid fire question, and Vince, please interject. I'm just gonna. What was your biggest mistake that you've made in this investing journey?
Biggest mistake so far, again, having the contractor issue.
So hiring the wrong guy.
The wrong guy.
Were there any
or-
signs that you knew, like, okay, this is a sketchy dude, or was there anything that was telling you that?
Initially, dude, it was crazy because he was so friendly, so good at communication. Initially, like he will send me everything on. Like we had great like starting, and then it's just like boom, it crashed. All of a sudden, one day he's like, "Hey, I'm out." I was like, "What about like you gotta finish this?" It's like, "No, I'm out." So
Was there anything you feel like you could have done different?
yeah, probably. So my agreement was that I was paying him on a weekly basis, and he was going to finish in 8 weeks, 2 months. I should have gone or asked for pictures, videos, and stuff like that every
week, day
before. I will send the money.
So this was in Desert Hot Springs, and you weren't driving out there every week.
No.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
So that was
No checks and balances.
Yeah. Keeping track of that. Now,
So was he not doing anything, or what?
he was doing stuff, but he was falling behind.
And he was charging you for stuff he wasn't doing.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the things that I kind of thought was like, hey, he said that he did the stucco, took photos, stucco was not there. He did this, it wasn't there. Or, you know, it's a bunch of stuff. He had no way to say anything about it and saying, you know, I didn't do it. You know, just talking with people, man, like I think that's kind of one of the things that I'm proud of, that being able to talk with people, start networking even more, and start making these connections.
So you're saying another thing that you would have done different maybe is found a contractor through another investor?
Through an investor, but like 2 things. The worst thing that I've done, it was the
That guy?
contractor. Yep. But one of the best things I think I'm getting to, it's like this sort of networking.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't like posting so much on social media, but I might do like a walkthrough of a flip.
I love watching your stuff, especially that we're doing renovations.
And then all of a sudden, like I get like investors saying, hey, you know, I have money. Do you have anything going on?
Yep.
I talk to other people, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, what do you do? And I do this and I do that. Hey, you know, can we do something together? And you start creating this kind of like, you have all these puzzle pieces, and if you start putting them together and creating that community, right? And I like talking to other people that, you know, invest hear their story, what numbers they run, why, like what am I doing that, you know, they're not doing, or vice versa. Like the pain points that everybody has, right? And how did you solve it? Today, for example, I'm looking at purchasing a house that has a tenant that hasn't paid rent in 4 months. So the owner, he's about to lose it to foreclosure because he's not able to pay the mortgage. He doesn't have money to do the cash for keys or to do an eviction. So, and the property is in LA County, right? So I call the eviction company to see, hey, if I do have to do an eviction, is it possible, first of all, right? But they said that they would not touch LA City, but they will do it in this city.
LA County.
In LA County,
Yeah.
But it's not like LA's like.
And what was the best case scenario they told you?
They told me it can take like 3 to 4 months.
That's not that bad.
No, it's not too bad. But again, like if I'm paying the hard money, I'm hard to hold that. Then the numbers get thin.
And you're going to do a flip on this?
The idea is to do a flip, yes.
Gotcha.
So hopefully we can do a cash for keys, which we're trying to talk to the tenant. Go more on the friendly side. And
do you hire a company to do the cash for keys thing, or you just go there yourself
No,
and just say, "Hey, I'll give you $1,000. Give me the keys."
Yeah, or ask them, "Hey, how much do you want? Let's make it peacefully.
Yeah.
Don't break the property.
Right.
Don't leave me any trash."
So you go yourself.
I can go myself, or I ask the realtor to talk to the tenant because I don't have the tenant's contact information yet. So I'm like, hey, put it together, because again, if I have a cash for keys agreement signed, then my lender is gonna give me better terms.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You're a hard money guy.
Yeah.
But I recommend getting all this stuff done before you close, bro.
Yeah.
This is not a good situation to be in.
I know.
It's LA City or is that LA County?
It's LA County.
Okay. But what if it
Either
takes
way, it's
9
LA.
months?
What's that?
What if it takes 9 months? You just lost 90 grand. you
Well,
know?
no, the eviction lawyer said 3 to 4 months.
3 to 4 months. I
Yeah.
mean, he's saying that.
Hope he's right.
Yeah.
I would try to get it all. Maybe you just go talk to him and be like, yo, 10 grand, move out. He might move out.
Oh yeah, I know. I know. The tenant is broke, so they need the money.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, to incentivize. It's all
exactly.
incentivization.
So like whatever he wants, just pay it.
Sure.
Get him out in peaceful terms, and it's part of the business.
And what's your kind of plan numbers wise? You want to buy it for what purchase price? Try to sell it for what?
So I'm looking at purchasing it at 510. Probably put like 50, 60 into it, and I have comps for 7.
Got it.
So I can probably walk away with profit there. And again, it's like a smaller house, so
So at least you got some cushion to like take on the few months of eviction costs or whatever. So, or even the cash for keys.
Yeah.
So at least you got that.
But that and my plan is to keep on growing the rental portfolio.
Yeah.
At some point, I want to start selling some of the older properties that I have, move them into, I don't know, maybe Riverside County or Orange County. This year, I'm waiting. We're buying a lot in Riverside, and we're gonna be doing a house
Development.
Ground
Nice.
up.
Nice, man.
That's fun.
So
That's
that's
a whole
gonna be
different
the
game.
first ground up.
That's cool.
Experience. But same thing, like just by talking with people.
Yep.
This guy, he has a construction company. He's been doing like crazy projects in Huntington Beach, Newport, LA. But big stuff. But we're talking, and hey, let's go on this.
Hey, so Fabe, so if people listening to you in the podcast, they're like, hey, so I want to partner with you. I got a 50 grand. How does that work? Do they give you 50 grand and you just run away with the money? Like, what's do you put a lien on the house?
Yeah, sometimes I take on investors for flips. We can do a note on the property. So upon selling the property, escrow pays you back with your principal plus the interest.
Second note.
Yeah, on a second, because usually the hard money will be first position.
So if you do your numbers really bad, it wipes out, then you're screwed. But if it's at least there's some equity, you're good.
Yeah, but I mean, I still have reserves where my primary focus is to have that investor paid out.
And you pay 10% or what?
Yeah, it depends. Like, between 8 to 10.
Okay.
Roughly.
8 to 10.
That's not bad.
And no points
on the private money.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, they just get a straight.
Yeah, straight percentage, and when the property sells, so I don't have to do monthly payments. But the hard money, I
So how do people get a hold of you if we can plug?
I have Instagram. Again, it's a private account. It's my personal. But just follow me. And
What's the Instagram?
It's my name, Fabian Wizenfeld, altogether. WIZENFELD.
Everyone, please spam him. Send all of the eggplant emojis. No.
Why you have private, bro? You trying to not grow your business? What's going on over there?
No,
you just don't need money. You're just too rich, or what?
No, it's sometimes I kind of want to keep my life
simple, quiet.
Yeah,
I got you.
I don't.
Well, thank you for allowing us to pick your brain.
Yeah.
Put you on the the podcast. Everyone listening at this point, thank you. Reach out to Fabian Wizenfeld. That's at Fabian Wizenfeld. We'll put it in the show notes as well. And I think we've sent you a couple people who are looking for that particular deal, and we're happy to do it and help out in that way. We just want people to get in the game, people to have a taste of financial freedom, and because everyone at the top is collaborating.
Yeah,
so It's been fun to collaborate with you, bro.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Any final thoughts, notes?
Yeah, what do you think of the last question? Current economy in Orange County, what's happening with the flips? Is it a good time for people to get into it?
I think as a buyer, you can definitely get better numbers now. If you're gonna be buying, you can negotiate stuff.
Staying on the market a little bit, 30 days plus?
Some stuff. If a buyer is ready to buy, they're gonna buy it no matter what. If they like the house, the location, they're gonna go with it. Yeah. I've seen a lot of people getting into escrow and backing out, getting into escrow, backing out, stuff like that. Some people are kind of afraid of their job situation.
Sure.
But we're still in California, Orange County. There's so much money out there that it's there, and not only people that live here want to buy here. You also have to consider people that live in other countries.
Yeah.
That they want to safeguard their money.
Yep.
And they think or they know that US is a great source to park your money,
right,
and let it grow.
Do you buy properties distressed on MLS, or do you have all wholesalers?
Both. So I bought a portfolio on the MLS. I found it. I saw that it was on the market, and then I ended up putting an offer. So we're currently rehabbing property number 3 out of that. It was a 7-property portfolio.
And you're buying everything?
We bought all of them. So that was the deal. You had to buy the whole thing. So we already rehab 2. The idea is to hold them. And we're rehabbing property number 3 right now.
And none of these properties, if you rehab them and burr them out, you can't keep it high. It won't break even in Orange County?
Orange County, that's the thing. It's because of the values are high and rents are not
comparatively
there
low.
yet.
Yeah.
Then either you have to leave a lot of money on the property, or definitely just pay cash. And then your return on the money is very, very minimal.
Right. Is that why you decided to dabble into furnished rentals like Airbnb at first?
We were trying it out, to be honest. It was kind of the hot thing back then. And again, it worked. It was a good experience. But Like
You're
I think
I'm not in the hotel business. I'm out.
that, and also it's like, again, the profits are like tiny compared to doing a flip.
Yeah.
That's kind of
Oh,
how I
yeah,
got
for
into
sure.
the flip. You know, hey, you can make way more money here. Let's go.
It's a long-term play.
Yeah. But you know, with that in mind, it's like I do flips, but I'm still buying rentals, and then
you're doing the both.
Yeah, I'm playing both.
Yeah, you're doing it right. Because it's hard to make money in rentals. Like, I mean, cash flow wise, if you make a few $100s net per property, like you're doing good. Brandon Turner, who we were just talking about, apparently loses like
$50,000 a month or something.
50 grand
crazy.
a month.
Wow.
You know?
On the latest stuff that he bought, huh?
Just on his net.
That's his net, but
That's
he
the
has
company.
active income coming in. That's where he's making money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because his lifestyle is expensive. He's living in Hawaii.
Yeah. But I mean, those guys, they are able to make it, man. Like,
It's just
you know,
like
they
different
can
level.
they can pay for it, and
Yep.
you know, I just always want to be cautious of, you know, not go belly up and lose it all in a way, right? So I always want to have a backup, reserves, make sure like if a tenant doesn't pay or if I have a vacancy, you know, I'm okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's not gonna make or break me. And then you know, even because by doing flips and getting in touch with wholesalers and stuff like that, I've been able to buy rentals through like off market.
Nice.
So you know, I'm able to get like better pricing on it, and you know, stuff like that. But even on the MLS, you can find a lot of stuff. Last year we did quite a bunch in Placentia, and most of
That's
them,
right. Yeah.
most of them were like MLS listings.
And those deals worked out pretty good for you?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Did you ever hit up my boy Spence? I sent you a contact. He lives like near there. Really, really good at what he does. Very detail oriented.
Contractor,
What's that?
handyman.
Yeah, handyman contractor. Okay. He's like that guy that can just do everything.
Yeah.
Spencer means.
Yeah.
Nice. But you know, the cool thing about Placentia is that we started buying, and everything was like within like a 5-minute radius, like one from another. So we did one that went very well, and then we picked another one off the MLS. We fixed it, sold it, and every property. And it was funny because we were getting the appraisals reports, and they were picking up our previous flips. So like we were pushing.
So you're like literally influencing your own flips.
All the values up. Yeah.
Wow.
So like neighbors probably love us.
Never heard of that. That's funny.
Yeah. So actually, we ended up doing 2 houses on the same street.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you really knew your comps at that point. Your ARV.
We were taking around.
Like we just sold 2 houses down.
Yeah.
Double-edged sword though. If he sells it for lower, the next one has to sell.
I know. I know.
That's why builders will not like to reduce your price, but they'll give a lot of builder credit. So
Makes
they keep
sense.
the comps up.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But right now I think again people are kind of worried about the interest rate and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, I could use some cash out refis, but I'm waiting for rates to kind of like they've been pretty steady for now. But if I do a cash out refi, I just want to make sure I have something else to put the money towards. Right. And not having it parked doing nothing.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, this is a very cash intensive business.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you see all of a sudden your bank account like drains and then you sell it and it's like, vroom, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, we try to like, you know, again, be careful and try to run the numbers, be on the safe side.
Do you have like a main partner behind the scenes that you work with, or?
It depends. I do deals with different people. I have investors that, you know, they put up money. I have a partner with the flips. I have another partner for construction.
It's always like a different
things. So again, I'm just looking to connect.
Yeah.
A lot of people like sometimes approach me and they're like, "Hey, I want to do something with you." It's like, okay, what can you bring to the table?
Bring value.
Yeah, give me something, right?
Yeah.
some people is like, oh, you know, I want 50% and do nothing. It's, well, what's the point?
Yeah, we know those people too.
Again, it's a fantasy, and they never end up doing anything too, right? But you know, you have that, and again, like for me, it's start to network and meet the right people with more experience than I have.
That's actually how we met. I think you were coming out to you've come to our meetups for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
2 or 3.
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
from the beginning. Yeah.
You know, and listen. You know, start listening, learning from people, like what mistakes they came across, what things worked out for them, and again, we're all in the same boat. Yeah. It's kind of crazy how I might have one thing, you might have another thing, and it's kind of how are you dealing with it, or hey, can I help you with something, right?
It's awesome. It's also nice just to like hear your like, oh, Section 8 woes or cash for keys. And Vince and I are both like, oh yeah, that's right. Like it's not just us.
Everybody's going through the same. And again, some people may have a great experience. I know people that they bought brand new construction, put a tenant in, and 3 months later, the place was destroyed, and it was their first rental. So they were like, hey, should I sell? Should I fix it and rent it again?
My heart goes out to those people, man.
You know,
it's a game of persistence like anything else.
Yeah. But if you're able to buy and hold it and keep it, and, you know, what's going to be the value?
Yeah, that one recording stopped. Yeah, it's been 2 hours.
Oh, the recording stopped on this?
Over there, over there. But we got the audio, but that's cool.
Okay, cool.
Audio keeps going.
But
thanks, Ben. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
We'll do a round 2 later on to see what your flips did.
We'll do.
Yeah, I want to see how the 7 unit went. So thanks, everyone, for listening and helping Fabian pop his podcast cherry.
See you next time.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks, bro.
I don't know about you, but I definitely like to see 5-star reviews on any service or any product before I purchase. Please take a second to leave us a 5-star review, whether you're listening to it on Apple, iTunes, or Spotify, or whatever platform. Take a second, goes a long way, helps us a lot to grow the channel, and thanks for listening.